It's been almost 2 years since Fallout Season 1, and now we return to it with Fallout Season 2, a season that expands a lot and goes deeper into what we saw in Season 1. There's more connections to the games, and I don't know how I feel. I liked this season, I think. I think it's a complicated one because it feels almost like an in-between season. It feels like something that ultimately sets things up for the future, which isn't uncommon for a second season of a show that plans to go further. But this season didn't elicit the same excitement and intrigue as season one for me. Did you have a similar experience?
Yeah, I wanted a bit more with Lucy and Maximus, with the ghoul as well. But I feel like that is greatly overshadowed by the backstories. To me, that was the exciting part of the series to find out all the things that are leading up to that. But it just felt a bit weaker around this time because I wanted a bit more of them with Maximus and Lucy. Because their stories are really interesting from the first season, but then it just feels like it is building a lot of things. But I think there are a few good things in this season that we get to explore character-wise. But other than that, there's a lot of connections, a lot building up to the third season. It's already renewed for a third season. So are we going to see a bit more story-wise into the third season, or is there going to be a lot more connections to the games? This season is heavily inspired by the New Vegas game. We get the introduction of Robert House. Yeah, but this time it feels a bit weird for me.
This is the Out of Time Film Podcast, where your hosts Tom and John discuss everything from blockbuster films to TV and games like there's no tomorrow.
This makes me want to play Fallout New Vegas. I've only ever played Fallout 4, and I've never really been too interested in going deeper into that, but there seems to be a lot of really interesting stuff. This season goes beyond the point where I can say, yes, I know this stuff. There are a lot of stuff introduced that I'm like, is this from the games? I don't know. I think that the show therefore strikes a really good balance between the stuff that new fans can enjoy and stuff that old fans will understand. I think somebody who has played the entire series will get more out of this than somebody who hasn't. But I don't think that that makes it confusing. I really enjoyed that there were connections. I recognized this and that. We get to see an older version of the power armor, which I know that we see in Fallout New Vegas, and the Robert House stuff. A lot of that is also in New Vegas. So I think it's cool that season one was very standalone. And then in season two, they kind of say, okay, now we're going to anchor this to the games even more. And because we know that we already have an audience who's interested in the show, we're not going to alienate them. We can give everyone a little bit of everything. And I think that's a really good approach.
Yeah, and that makes me
Oh,
intrigued.
yeah. I think your microphone
Well,
disconnected.
well,
Here he
changing.
is.
It's a mutant microphone now, by the way. It's a mutant
Oh,
microphone that changes.
in the edit, should I just put weird voice filters on you
Yeah,
throughout? Every every
yeah,
time you speak, you're just like, well, I thought season four was kind of good.
yeah. Sorry
Using
about that,
Fallout as
everybody.
well.
My microphone was acting up. No, it's great to have an audience that play the games and can get their references, but it's also interesting story-wise, with the direction, where they're going, especially towards the end of season two, because it sets up a lot of questions about what's going to happen, which we'll discuss later on. But it's also interesting, are they going to explore different experiments? Are they going to look into the different vaults? And there's some really cool things that they did for the season as well, like for the vaults especially. I've heard that Vault, is it 24? I think Vault 24 was actually cut content deleted from one of the games, so they
Oh,
included that.
is that the one that they visit in episode one or two?
Yeah, I think that's
Nice.
cool to bring back some hidden knowledge or stuff that they didn't include in the games. But this season definitely felt like an expansion to
Mm.
hey, let's see what's going on around the world.
Yeah, I wonder if they're gonna make more games because obviously Fallout
Morgan,
76.
please,
Yeah.
Bethesda, listen to us,
What are they
please.
what are they working on at the moment? I don't even know, but I
Well,
think
there's
it
Elder
would be
Scrolls.
great.
That's been in production for a long time. So, Todd Howard, please, can you,
Come on,
can you,
please.
please, Fallout, do some. I
Well,
haven't played Fallout 76,
no,
so I don't
well,
know what's that
it didn't
like.
it didn't have a story, did it? It was all
No.
online play, and that just didn't really appeal to me. But the good thing is with Fallout is because this is set in the same world, we still get some really nice exploration of that world in this. And as you say, season three is confirmed, so presumably it won't be too long. Maybe it's another year and a half wait. That was
Well,
roughly
it
how long
is
it
going to
was last
be
time.
filmed in the summer.
Right, okay, yeah. Hopefully 2027, maybe late 2027 we'll get it. The good thing about this season is that unlike season 1, they actually released it weekly.
Yay!
What a concept. I mean, it felt so great to watch the episodes slowly and let it breathe. I remember when season 1, I watched it all in one day and it just felt overwhelming. And in season 2, the audience has a trust and investment in the show. You don't run the same risks as releasing a season all in one go because I don't think the audience is impatient anymore. They know to wait because they're not trying something for the first time. They're returning. We've spent a lot of time on this show talking about TV shouldn't be released all at once, but I will say that there is room for that release model in a sense of if you release season 1 all at once to get audiences interested, because yes, TV has changed so much. Then moving forward in future seasons, release each season 1 episode a week. I do think that there is space for that, and I do think that for a show like this, the fact that people didn't have to wait last time and they could experience as much or as little as they wanted, you could afford a slow build. You know, we talked about Wonder Man last week that released all at once and people are loving that show. That's brilliant. And I do think that because it released all at once, there is something to be said that these things do get more traction. But I'm so happy that moving forwards with Fallout and hopefully shows like it, we can do 1 episode a week. That's a really nice thing that I think we've now been afforded to get from Fallout now that we know that season 1 worked and was popular.
Yes, unlike Stranger Things, because they released 3 episodes per date, whatever.
Yeah.
And to me, that's just like dropping a whole 3-hour movie, and you're not giving that time to delve slowly. And I was so happy with this because I was taking my time, and it was great to see everybody discussing it. It was like a long form discussion about what's going on with the season, what are the theories, and it's about the engagement as well, which is important to have that show kept alive within those weeks. And some of the things as well, like, oh, you know, what songs are in the season, or
They still hit me every time they play the Fallout 4 theme.
Oh.
Every time they do it, I'm just like, yes! They like to do it when it's something significant as well.
It's a
but
great
just the whole-
theme.
I mean,
It's a great theme.
Zero notes. It's fantastic. So, of course, we get to follow the main 3 from last season, Lucy, the Ghoul, Maximus, and the season's kind of interesting to me because in the first half of the season, I was all in on Maximus's story. That, to me, was the most interesting part, and I was a little bit less invested in Lucy and the Ghoul. But then as we progress, we see much less of Maximus as we go, and we see more of Lucy and the Ghoul, so that becomes more interesting. And I think that this season, I think it felt a little bit overstuffed. There's a lot going on now, and because we're beginning to detach people from certain areas, so, you know, Norm is no longer in Vault 33, and Vault 33 is now split into Vault 33 and Vault 32. So that one narrative that we were following last season has now been split into 3. We have Maximus now working to a completely different goal to Lucy and the Ghoul. Last season, they were all trying to find this head, you know, the head of the guy that contained the cold fusion. That had its own direction now, but now we also follow Maximus doing his own thing. Lucy and the Ghoul are trying to find Hank, and Hank has his own storyline. And then the Ghoul's got all the flashbacks to Cooper. And there's just so much going on. And it feels like every episode we introduce a new side character. There's a couple of well-known actors, which I want to say, so we see some new faces in this. Justin Theroux's in this season, Kamal Nanjiani, but specifically Macaulay Culkin. Macaulay Culkin was marketed quite a bit. They were like, Macaulay Culkin's in this season.
Was.
Here he is. He's dressed in Roman armor. It's going to be great. And then, you know, he enters the show in episode 3, I want to say.
Yeah.
But that's kind of it. Like, he's barely in it. I have
He's
no
barely
idea
in it.
why he was marketed so heavily. I don't know. Is it because the show came out in December and they were trying to go for some sort of Christmas Home Alone thing? I don't know. But that struck me as so odd.
That is very odd. That reminds me of the time when Disney, was it Pixar or Disney? Elemental. You know, like that time when
Claude,
like they advertised that so much, and he was like, he's gonna be in the movie, guys. But with with this, it's just like, have we not learned from something with this? Like, of course, he's gonna be the Roman emperor or something.
When we first see Macaulay Culkin's character, he does like a dramatic turn to the camera, and it's like pause for applause. It's like Andrew Garfield in No Way Home. It's like, it's Macaulay Culkin,
yeah, Macaulay Culkin, he's back.
Brilliant.
But yeah, there's so many stories that you have to follow in this, which can be a bit frustrating, but then I think weekly does help it a bit. Like you're not
Yeah.
watching it all at once. If you watch
Yeah.
it all at once, it's like you're on crack. You're like, what's going on? You don't
Yeah.
know where you are. But I think if it can tone down a bit with stories all at once to focus on the different characters, because as you said, like with Maximus, I was like, great, we're going to see Maximus, we're going to see a lot more of him. But then with Lucy's story, that became a bit of a highlight later on with her, questioning herself in the wastelands, like, has the wastelands changed her as a person? But there wasn't really a balance in this season, so it just felt like, sure, whatever.
There would be episodes where you just wouldn't see certain characters and you'd be invested and you'd be like, where was Maximus in this
Yeah.
episode? And I love to see him as Knight Maximus. He's a figure of authority now in the Brotherhood, and it's interesting and it's different from season one. And especially at the beginning, we see that he treats his squires exactly how he would want to be treated, because in season one, he was so mistreated. And in this season, he's trying to end that cycle of violence in the Brotherhood, and he's taking Lucy's golden rule and using it to do some good in his own institution. And I gotta say, Aaron Moten, who plays Maximus, that guy has got to be my favorite sad face actor ever. The guy has the perfect depression face. Like every time he's just got like that little sad look. You see in this season that this guy has gone through the most tragic thing ever.
Oh,
He used to be
yeah.
full of optimism and youth, and he was literally born into a world that thought it had a second chance. But then you're ripped away from that, and you have to live in a society of pessimism. And you can kind of see why he'd just be consumed by
Yeah.
depression. Like, Lucy's the one person who makes him see something hopeful. And I just think he's my favorite character. He's so interesting. I love to see him as the hero, but also as the tortured soul. And he just has the sad stare down.
He's like the perfect look to it. He's a bloody fantastic character. I want to see him more. Then with the ghoul, there was really nice character arc with the ghoul. Like he becomes a bit more compassionate with Lucy. He looks out for her later on. And then he also remains hopeful as well, which is like something that we don't get to see a lot in the Fallout universe. Hopefulness, it's gone. It's gone
What
out
is
the window.
hope? Yeah.
It's gone. Like all the money I bet in Las Vegas, that's gone. See Las Vegas.
John,
Yeah,
I
see?
told you not to spend all your money in Vegas.
You told me to bet it on black. You told me to bet it on black.
The house always wins, John.
No! Yeah, it's great to see that theme of hopefulness in the ghoul. Overall characters like with Lucy, she's so optimistic and then tries to give that to the ghoul. It's interesting, like Maximus takes that from Lucy and then the ghoul takes that from, like with the theme of optimism. It's like, yeah, there's something in this world that keeps me going.
We almost begin to see the ghoul become more human in the way that he acts. He's getting closer to finding his family. So we see more of Cooper in the ghoul. Whereas last season, he was very much the lone cowboy, just walking the wasteland. And, war never changes.
That was a great impression.
Thank you. It's
so-
me, Wally Goggs. It's just,
Whoa!
it's just like,
Whoa!
he has that from the desert emerges a stranger who just walks through and doesn't care about anyone other than himself. And similar to Maximus, you see Lucy rub off on him and he begins to remember his own humanity. Whereas when he's alone, he's only consumed by the one thought. We see Lucy become more changed by the wasteland in this season. We see her struggling with trying to maintain her golden rule when she has to harm people more and more because that is the way to survive. And I do think at the start of the season, seeing the ghoul and Lucy just kind of still wandering aimlessly around the desert and they're getting into scrapes, it wasn't necessarily I was a bit bored by it, especially when the Maximus stuff was also new and I just rewatched Fallout season 1. It was just more of the same to me. But then once you get to kind of episode 3 and we begin to explore the flashbacks a little bit more and Macaulay Culkin's bit, Lucy is strung up and the ghoul comes to save her, and that's intercut with Cooper in the past listening to his mate's story about Cooper saving a life and how he's a hero for not killing 3 men but saving 1, and all of that also intercut with Cooper contemplating whether he should kill Robert House and the ramifications of that. And I really liked that stuff. The whole show is about the nature of war before, during, and after, and what it does to good people. And there's institutions and opportunists, and everything profits from evil. So, like, can good persist? We see that as well with Hank's storyline. Should we even give people their own autonomy, or should we just control them? Can we make them be drones who are good but actually have no free will? It's all very interesting stuff, and it all does build and get more interesting. I think we should go into spoilers because there's a
Yes.
lot to talk about where this season is kind of heading to and building towards. And it did leave me a little bit underwhelmed, but I still think it's a good season. The mystery is building here.
Yeah, it's also interesting to lead on with Hank, with the legacy of, I think it's Mr. House that he wants to live on, with the legacy of the
Mm.
autonomy, like with the chip. But also, Hank is also linked to the Enclave as well. So, like, the Enclave is like this mysterious entity that
Yes.
the Fallout universe is building on. Like, with the Death Claws, the Enclave made them. And
Oh, did they say that in the show, or is that
I not explicitly. I think Robert House did say the monster in the snow. He's alluding to the fact that it was made by the
right?
Enclave.
Yeah, yeah,
So
okay. In Fallout 4, there's the Institute. We haven't seen that yet. Do you remember that?
no, I don't.
That's like one of the.
Yeah, some of the Institute. Yeah,
I don't know that maybe that's just wherever Fallout 4 is set. Maybe
yeah,
it's only there, but I don't know. There's a lot. There's a
yeah.
lot that I'm very interested about.
Yeah, so with the Enclave, I'm excited to see where that goes because then the Enclave is also linked to one of the votes. With
Yeah,
Stephanie as the overseer, she's heavily linked to the Enclave with
right.
phase two
Yeah.
initiation, which is the virus. So I think that's muted.
So you think it's going to turn them into mutants?
Yes, so I think that's the experiment.
There's a scene where the ghoul is saved from being impaled on a lamppost by this
Mm.
strange mutant who says like, "Oh, there's loads of us, and we want to do something about this." And he offers to Ghoul to help, and the Ghoul's not interested. But that guy, you see his face only once. He's basically dressed like Jacob Elordi's Frankenstein.
That's his cousin. He's just there to visit the
Yes,
ghoul. Yeah.
it's his cousin Stevenstein.
Steven Stein.
Yeah.
Wow.
So like you see his face, and I went, "Oh my God, it's Ron Perlman," and it's not Ron Perlman.
Wait, it's not one. Oh, okay. So the way that you said it, I was like, you actually convinced me it was
No,
Ron
well,
Perlman.
I thought it generally was, and it might be because he's not credited. But then in the next episode or so, in the flashbacks, Cooper meets the president, played by Clancy Brown. So I think that wasn't Ron Perlman; it was Clancy Brown, and I think that Clancy Brown is that mutant. I think the president has become that mutant. I don't know what that means. Obviously, we don't like.
Interesting.
Cooper gave the cold fusion to the president, and that was clearly the wrong choice.
But
But
but did you know? Okay,
mm,
this is the crazy thing. The president, I think it's in the Fallout universe that they mentioned this. The president was actually the head of the Enclave.
what? What?
So
Huh?
yeah,
Huh?
so that's why I was like, I don't think that's possible because
Oh,
that's a good theory, but I think everybody's like
okay.
alluding to the fact that he had access to the cold fusion and that led to the end of the world. So
Sure.
Cooper had a part to play giving the cold fusion to the president, not knowing that he was part of the Enclave as well. So
Yeah, there's a really good scene
yeah.
where Barbara, Cooper's wife, is in a lift, and we discover that her whole speech about war never changing and her suggesting that she drop the bombs, somebody threatened her, and it's none other than the guy from season one whose head is cut off, who we know eventually decides to do something about it. The flashbacks begin to fold in not just Robert House, but also Hank has a part to play in that. Stephanie has a part to play in that. We even see a young version of Betty, Leslie Uggams' character. Very interesting stuff that we're kind of folding all this stuff in. And I gotta say, the de-aging on Hank, which wasn't very good in season one, is pretty solid here. I think the reason why it is, I mean, obviously a recast is preferred. I mean, that's what they do for Betty. And I think that if it wasn't Kyle MacLachlan, I think no one would bat an eye. But the reason why the de-aging works is because we don't see it that much. They will cut to Hank and they will cut away quite quickly, or he'll be blurred or he'll be moving. They rarely linger on the de-aging, so you never go, it looks weird. And I think that's quite clever. But either way, it's there. There's definitely loads of things here that we're unpacking. So I guess if the president is the head of the Enclave, maybe that was Ron Perlman. It's Hellboy.
Cooper did not know he was giving the cold fusion to Mr. Krabs. That's a story. That's a story to tell.
I gotta make meat bottle caps, SpongeBob.
Another thing as well I love
Yes.
is the set dressing
Oh,
of,
yeah.
that's how you get realism from the Fallout universe. Like how they brought New Vegas to life. Brilliant. Like you get to see the signage, with the 60s stylized universe, how they kept it so terrifying but also brand new. And Robert House as a program
Or is he artificial intelligence? I don't know. He's just in the computer somehow. He's just there. It's amazing to see practicality come into use.
Everything from season one is there and it's all great, but we're going deeper. Like all the stuff in Vegas and everything like that is so phenomenal. The CGI is really solid. Like the death claws look great. There are definitely some moments where the CGI is a little bit subpar, but it's fleeting. And as ever, the thing that I think is the best thing about this show in terms of its production is the power armor suits. My God, they're just phenomenal. As I say, we got to see Maximus don the Fallout New Vegas classic power armor. It just looks so good. You compare that to the amount of times that we've seen a mech suit or an Iron Man suit in CGI in a big blockbuster movie, and it just looks awful. And the mask comes off, it just looks like a floating head. They're so tactile and so heavy. You feel the weight of them. And they even use the Iron Man, the heads up display cut to the guy inside the helmet. I'm not a massive fan of that as a technique, but just seeing them, Maximus takes off the helmet and you can just see, it just feels so real. I love that so much. Apparently it's awful to wear. Apparently it's claustrophobic and heavy, and I imagine it is, but it's so worth it. Oh my God. That element of it, I never get tired of. But I also like how the power armor isn't something that is so relied upon. Like in season one, Maximus gets it and is like, holy shit, yeah, I'm going to stay in it the whole time. Without this suit, I'm nothing. But like literally in episode 1 or 2 of this season, Maximus is having to go like hand-to-hand brawl with somebody. He doesn't think that his only power is the power armor. At the end of the season, he literally picks up a roulette wheel and a stick and is like ready to go without any armor against the Deathclaw. And that's just really cool stuff. Like the development there is just so exciting.
Yeah, and then leading on to that with that scene, we get that fantastic reveal of National California Republic, I think. I don't know what's the full title. New California Republic. And you get to see all the soldiers come in.
Yes.
And with the great theme, it's just so fantastic to see that bit of hope. But then there's the thing with what's going to happen with the Legion coming into Vegas. So there's going to be an interesting war as well.
Yes.
Last time we talked about Fallout, I see some comments about, you didn't know this about in the games. You didn't know this happened in this. I want to say something. This show is just not going to be connected to the games, not fully connected. We don't know much about Fallout. We haven't played New Vegas or Fallout 3. We only played Fallout 4, and that's like the only thing that we know about Fallout. This is a completely new thing. The people that made the show said it's a new thing. It's not going to be a sequel or expansion. It's going to be completely different to the endings, because there are endings to New Vegas that don't connect to this show at all. So it's a completely new thing.
Knowing the games will enhance your experience, but who cares, man? Honestly,
who cares?
Yeah. The final thing to talk about, I guess, is the post-credit scene. Did you watch the post-credit scene of episode 8?
Bloody hell, what?
No! It got you again!
Kidding me?
There is a post-credit scene for episode 8. So, we see the Brotherhood still in shambles. The war is still going on. We see Dane, Maximus's mate, who goes over to the main guy of the Brotherhood, and he was like, I tried to unite them, but now I will destroy. And we see blueprints for a really big mech suit, like a really big armor. So yeah, we got more for the Brotherhood as well, coming at some point. I saw that and I was a bit like, we're going to do a giant mech suit? Is that okay? Like, I was a little bit like, oh, sure.
They're going to do Evangelion, guys. They're going to bring in the mechs. I didn't know
Let
that.
them cook, I guess. I think my
Let
final
them
thing
cook.
This season, I liked it. There was a lot of things that I did like. There was some things that I wasn't as big on. I don't think I liked it as much as season 1, but it felt like it was setting up next season. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I hope that next season does feel a little bit more. Are we going to Colorado? I don't know. We're
going to Colorado, guys. Pack up your bags. We're going.
Get your shades on, guys. Is Colorado on the coast? Are we going to go to the beach?
I think so.
I don't know.
It's in the
America.
Rockies. No, it's not. No, it's
Oh.
not. It's not on the coast. No, I don't think so.
Oh, never mind. We're going to the mountains. I don't know.
We're going to the Rockies.
Fuck it. Either way, wherever we're going, I hope that next season is more like shit hits the fan season. And it seems like we're going there, but who knows? What are you going to give Fallout Season 2 out of 10?
There's some great moments in this show, but it's a good show. 7 out of 10.
Me too, 7 out of 10. Thank you everybody for listening. If you're listening on YouTube and you liked it, you can like and subscribe if you want to see more. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple, you can follow and give us a 5-star review if you think we're worthy. And next week, we're going to be going back to some horror, Send Help, Sam Raimi, The Goat Returns.
Let's see if my goat still got this.
Oh, I think he does. I'm so excited. And you can send an email outoftimefilmpod@gmail.com. Let us know your thoughts on Send Help. And we'll answer it right here in the podcast next week.
Yeah, so you can follow us on Instagram at Out of Time Film Pod to see our incredible thumbnails from Zain, on Twitter for more thoughts from Tom and me, and TikTok to see edited clips, which are all also on Instagram, Reels, and YouTube Shorts. And you can find links to that all in the description below. Thanks to Elle for the excellent theme, and Ronan for vocals as always. And I think that's everything. Take away given.
Give nothing back.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.